Have you heard of someone being falsely accused of a crime or imprisoned when they were actually innocent? I know that's been in the news a lot lately. And The Walls Around Us by Nova Rinsuma is primarily set at a girls' detention center, and it deals with that issue, but also with ghosts, revenge, poison, hallucinogenic drugs, books, and ballet. Nova Rinsuma's writing is atmospheric and beautiful, just breathtaking. This book features two narrators, both of whom are unreliable, so you never really know who to trust. There are a lot of twists and turns. This book will keep you guessing all the way up to the surprise ending. This is a perfect read for Halloween or if you're home alone and feel like getting spooked. The Walls Around Us by Nova Rinsuma. Have any of the stories coming out of the Me Too movement made you mad? Mad enough to kill? And what about serial killers? Have you ever heard of any serial killers who were just normal, nice enough on the outside? Well, let me introduce you to Alex from The Female of the Species by Mandy Aguilar. See, Alex is just a nice girl, and she rescues animals at a shelter. But she also kills people that she knows are bad. See, Alex's sister was raped and murdered, and this girl is out for revenge. But soon she's befriended by a local preacher's kid. Everyone just calls her PK. And Alex starts to relax a little bit socially. She wants to become a better, less murdery person. And soon she starts dating Jack, a really nice and attractive guy. But when something bad happens to PK, Alex strikes again. Really, there is just a lot of violence and killing in this book. But what if I told you that there's also a lot of kissing and puppies and kittens and really a lot of hope? Are you interested yet? Let's watch the trailer. Does anyone here know an undocumented immigrant? Even if you think you don't, you do. And for undocumented people, the threat of deportation is always looming. The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon is a love story set in a race against time, a race against deportation. Natasha is a Jamaican-born U.S. undocumented immigrant, and today is her last day in the States before her family is deported back to Jamaica. She is out to make one last-ditch effort with immigration services to save her family's status. This girl is seriously cool. She's got pink hair, she loves science and logic, and she is desperate to stay in the U.S. Daniel is a Korean American, and today is his entrance interview for Yale. Even though he doesn't want to go on the medical doctor path that his family has approved, he would rather be a poet. Natasha and Daniel meet by chance, or is it fate? And they spend the day falling in love and dealing with the deportation and the entrance interview and their families and the entire New York City transit system and, well, everything. Set in 24 hours, The Sun is Also a Star is an amazing book. And did I mention that the universe is also a character? Give this book a shot. Who here is planning to go on a senior trip? One last big trip before you go off to work or college. Maybe it's New York or a drive across the U.S. or even a gap year to travel the world. Well, historically, this was called a grand tour, and it's something that young men did across Europe before they became adults. So, The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee is basically the story of a crazy senior trip, except it's set in the 1700s. Monty is the heir to an earldom in England, except he just won't act the way his dad wants him to. He's too busy partying and having sex and drinking and gambling, so his dad offers him one last chance to straighten up before he's disinherited in favor of his younger baby brother. So that last chance is on Monty's grand tour. Percy is Monty's best friend, and he's also biracial. Society isn't super cool with that back then. But Monty is secretly in love with Percy and invites him to come along. Monty's little sister Felicity joins them as well, and the three set off on this trip. But it quickly spirals out of control with stolen goods and bad guys pursuing them and pirates and romance and a little bit of fantasy all rolled into one. This is a great book that is super funny, but also offers a glimpse into 18th century views on things like homosexuality and gender roles and epilepsy and race. And it just is a really fun time that's also going to make you think a little bit. Let's watch the trailer. Have you ever competed against your crush for something, like first chair in orchestra or a part in a school play or maybe on the debate team? How did it make you feel to want the exact same thing that they did? In The Summer of Jordi Perez and the Best Burger in Los Angeles by Amy Spalding, Abby is a plus-size fashion blogger who has just landed an internship at a super cool boutique in LA, and this could lead to the job of her dreams. The only problem is she has to compete against the other intern, Jordi Perez, for that job. Jordi is a super cute and really awesome girl who's a photographer, and Abby develops a massive crush on her. Miraculously, the two girls start dating. Everything's great, right? Except Abby can't quite forget about competing for the job, and she still has a few hang-ups about her body. To make matters worse, Abby's mom is a food blogger, and she's becoming really well known in the dieting industry. And what about the burgers? Abby's friend Jax is helping his dad design an app for food, and the two of them go across LA eating all of the burgers to help test the app. So prepare to be super hungry while you're reading this. Ultimately, this is a book about self-discovery and acceptance and burgers and a few hiccups along the way to a happy ending. The Summer of Jordi Perez by Amy Spalding.